Welcome everybody to Pretend Samosa. And you know what? I'm sitting here thinking about food. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking about, especially about palak paneer. I don't know why. Is it because it was on the news lately? Probably. So here's the case, okay? There's these two students. I don't know if you've heard, but they won case 200,000.
Cases of palak paneer?
No,
Okay.
$200,000 lawsuit because of palak paneer, because heating up palak paneer in the microwave oven. Think about that. These are two students from University of Colorado, Boulder. And what happened was they were PhD students. That's what the news says. I've heard conflicting, like master students, PhD students. So I'm thinking PhD students because they were in their 30s, okay, in the anthropology department of the university.
Oh, boy.
So, yes, so I'm thinking, okay, people where they love to learn about other cultures, etc., right? So these people, these two students, they were partners, like collaborators on a PhD project. Urmi is the girl, Urmi Bhattacharya, and the guy's name is, I believe it's Prakash. I'm going to have to check on it again. So they were heating up palak paneer in the microwave. And I guess this students or staff, the department, it's a department lounge, they complained that the odor is really pungent. Okay. And then some other foreign exchange students from India were also heating up food. So anyway, it became a case, civil rights case, where the university had to, they settled with $200,000. And they got their master's degrees, not PhD degrees, and they're barred from coming back, returning to that university for education or employment.
So that's the outcome?
That's the outcome
case
of the federal civil rights case.
So even if they were pursuing PhD, they're only getting masters or whatever
That's the
degree
part
they were pursuing?
That's what I heard. Like they're PhD students, but they were conferred masters. So I'm thinking maybe it's that program where if you finish this much, you earn a master's, but if you keep going, it can lead to a PhD. It might have been that.
I don't think that has anything, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that has anything to do with like what degree they're given.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was not, I don't think they were allowed to be punitive about it. They won the case. My question is, I'm surprised it's palak paneer. Why? Because it's sold in Trader Joe's. Anything that's sold in Trader Joe's should be allowed in a lounge, right?
That's a good
I mean,
point.
if you can buy something at your grocery store, Trader Joe's, we all love Trader, then why would heating that up cause people such an uproar?
Because it wasn't like Kelly's palak paneer sold in a box. That palak paneer was probably really good because we know that when they see food, when that fragrance lingers in the air and it's that strong that it's making it to the teacher's lounge, it's got to be good.
I disagree.
I'm actually a little jealous because I'm like, if I was that staff, I would be like, I want to go taste out what you guys eating.
I actually disagree with your assessment there and the comparison because in my opinion and my experience with something bought from a grocery store like palak paneer from Trader Joe's, I don't know if anybody else sells palak paneer, they tend to overdo the masalas because they're trying to make it Indian. It's the garam masala, it's the Calcutta or whatever, Madras curry masala that they use. And I've noticed that those frozen foods from American store are gonna be overdoing on the masala.
Kind of like Starbucks chai tea with this whole cinnamon and everything.
Everything is there except the tea, but
exaggerated masalas.
but the white name palak paneers are generally very watered down. If you've seen it, there's like a trend of those, hitting our shelves these days. But here's the thing. Okay, I have a professional workspace.
Yes, you do.
And I sometimes bring Indian food, my leftovers from dinner. I bring it to work because it's so good that you're like, man, I can't wait to have this for lunch. I won't have to have a burrito, although I love burritos. But, this day I'm going to have desi food. If I'm meeting a client that day, I am not going to be heating up my desi food in my office because that fragrance is going to linger. That fragrance is going to linger on me. It's going to linger on my bread. Doesn't matter how many bread savers and things I take. But heating it up in a work environment. And they're saying it's not just these two students, it's multiple students, everybody heating up desi food at the same time. Oh boy, that's a lot of smell and a lot of fragrance in the air. And if I was maybe that staff, I would say, hey, maybe we need to come up with a more enclosed area for where they can heat up the food. Try to find some kind of a solution, because it seems like it's not just one or two students doing it, it's multiple people. That means there's a need, and maybe they need to make some kind of, I don't know, some way to control that fragrance. Maybe put vents in or something.
I think one thing that because why isn't this problem there in a place like India? Like, we used to cook so much, right? But I think it's the configuration of the buildings as well.
Yeah.
The buildings here are close, especially something like this was Colorado, you said, University of Colorado? Okay, so it's ready for snow. So these buildings are insulated. Everything inside is going to stay inside. Everything outside is going to stay outside. So it's not even a question of food like palak paneer. It's like popcorn. Have you ever been in an environment where somebody just made popcorn at work? If you're in a 10-story building, the 10th floor knows that the first floor
Somebody
made
made
popcorn. And it just almost like distracts everybody. So to some degree, I understand. But I wonder about the messaging. How was it approached? Because how is it that they won the case? It had to have been the way they handled it probably wasn't the right way. Because you could make a rule that is equal for everyone to say, okay, no heating food that emits any kind of smell.
But
that
every
would be,
food does.
No, but if you heat up mac and cheese, it's gonna have a little bit of smell. But or I would just put is there some kind of gauge that you could install and say, if it goes above, the smell goes above this. There would have been a way to handle it. I'm sure that wouldn't have resulted in a lawsuit.
Well, my question is, I'm thinking of, anthropology department. Most people who enroll in anthropology department, they are interested in other cultures, because that's really the whole point of that study, right? And I'm assuming many of them knew what palak paneer is, or how multiple different dishes smell or taste, because these are people who are by nature studying different cultures, right? So I'm assuming that it wasn't handled properly. Either students didn't communicate, or either students were kind of overstepping certain boundaries, or the university didn't communicate what needed to happen properly. So somewhere, I don't think the students are bad, or the faculty is bad. I think there was definitely, the way it was handled was poorly done. My other question is, who eats all that food during lunch? I want to know that.
What do you mean?
Because if I eat palak paneer and roti or rice or something, I'm going to be falling asleep. I'm not going to be able to stay alert. It's also hard to carry, because I might stain my own clothes. I might stain the space, whatever. It's hard to carry that kind of meal. Why wouldn't you just carry a sandwich?
So, oh my God. Are you
this
serious?
I am serious.
This is how they won the lawsuit.
I can't. Did you
This
just
is how
say
they-
that?
She is one of those teachers or
no,
one of those
because
staff members
Why
that
can't you
created
just
this
eat
issue.
a sandwich?
No,
What the heck is wrong with you?
Sandwich is an example.
Were you
okay?
in the board that denied them?
No,
Okay,
because
I'm just wondering.
this is what I eat at food. I eat a yogurt. I eat a banana. I may eat like something little throughout the day. I don't sit with palak paneer and roti
But
and all
maybe
that and
somebody-
spread it out and eat.
But
Okay, so
people eat all kinds of stuff.
what
But
if
the other
we
thing, hold on. The other thing could be that maybe if these are PhD students, they're staying there for all day. So that part I can understand. Maybe it's evening time,
It
or
could have
they're
been
ready
dinner,
for
we
their
don't
dinner
know.
time.
Yeah.
replace the food fragrance with body odor? Okay. Let's say
Oh,
it wasn't
God.
food. Let's say it was somebody who has a really strong body odor, right? You would be like, that fragrance can be so offensive sometimes that it doesn't even let you function,
All the
because
time.
all you are is like just engulfed with all the smell. So I can understand their issue with it, like calling it out and saying, hey, that is strong stuff. And it seems like they were probably doing it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
If someone's coming into my office, let's say, if one of my agents was coming into my office, heating up like really strong, fragrant food,
How would you handle it?
I would say not now.
No, but how would you?
But
Do
what would
this
you
an hour later after I've met
okay.
my clients, but not now because it's gonna linger. And I do have a break room. I close the door so that the fragrance can't escape. Fragrance can't escape. I do not want to be affected by it, and I do not want that fragrance in the air, so that when my clients walk in, that's the first thing that they smell is what the hell, you know, onions and garlic.
But wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't think you stopping an agent from heating up their palak paneer would cause a lawsuit. So there had to have been something more. It had more to do with how it was handled. Because how would you call it discrimination? Do you put a sign up saying no Indian food heating?
That's what I was going to say. I think they must have done something that
crazy.
extreme. And look, it may not be like the staff that was doing it. It may have been somebody out of that staff who took that, you know, initiative to post something like that.
Because, you know, there always are Karens.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a supervisor or somebody that should have said, oh, no, this is discrimination. We can't do that. We can't say no Indian food or no particular type of ethnic food that can be excluded from it.
I think that would definitely invite a lawsuit. If
Yeah.
you
So
say, so what is not an ethnic food, right? That can be debatable. Like what is an ethnic versus not? I think
you
there
could
could
never
be.
say ethnic
That's true.
food.
I think
Yeah.
you
That's
want to
true.
do
Every food is ethnic food.
Well,
It belongs to some ethnicity.
Yes, I think.
Yeah, but
it-
what does grilled cheese? What
you-
ethnicity is grilled cheese?
It's funny.
Well, can I finish my
yes,
point
but
first?
then we're going back to
You
grilled
can.
cheese. Okay.
So here's the thing. I think everybody needs to be considerate. Like inclusivity is one thing, but also we have to be considerate of others who are also trying to make use of that space and somehow and function in that space. We have to show consideration. So if I take just my food and say I have a right, yes, legally I have a right, but at the same time, is it nice? Is it polite? Is it considerate of other people's needs? Same thing like if I have, let's say if I'm working with somebody from China and who brings their Chinese meal, right? And it's gonna smell like seafood, very strong, pungent smell of seafood. Is that being considerate of me? I may not be able to handle that. I may get a headache because I don't have the acquired, I don't know how to deal with that smell. I wasn't raised that way. And I think same goes with Indian desi food too. Other people haven't been raised that way. They might go to an Indian restaurant and eat once in a while, but that doesn't mean they want to smell it day in, day out, every day. So I think we want to be inclusive, but at the same time, we also have to be considerate of other people's needs.
So can I go back to the grilled cheese? And it was like just in time because what I was gonna. We were talking about how to handle these situations, right? So there's a place that I used to work at where somebody used a toaster to make grilled cheese. So there are many videos on Instagram. You're stuck in a hotel room, you're stuck at work, and you want something warm. This is how you use your run-of-the-mill toaster to make grilled cheese.
Or even iron.
So you put it sideways and you put grilled cheese, and then you put it in the toaster. You have to have those wide toasters, and you can make grilled cheese. Well, apparently at my workplace, I didn't witness it, but I heard that somebody was doing that. And it like caused the cheese to get all over the toaster and it caused like burn marks. It was a mess. So all I saw was later on when I went in the kitchen, there was a huge sign saying toaster must only be used to toast toast. Okay. And this sign is up in because we had multiple kitchens. There was a kitchen on every floor. All these kitchens have the same sign. And we're all just like, okay, well, okay, obviously, that's like Mr. Obvious, right? Well, in our Christmas party, the president of the company goes up on stage and says, and he was just talking, and somehow this topic came up. He's like, we're a certain type of company. He goes, by the way, who put those signs up? That's not us. We don't control what people put in in the toaster. So it's how you handle a situation, the overreach, the overreaction is what happens in these situations. Someone speaks, someone smells something or they're disturbed, suddenly they go and they say something to that person that they shouldn't have said. And if that person is in, the person saying that is in any kind of authority, is an authority figure, not just a coworker, that can be then
Right.
a lawsuit.
Lands differently.
Yeah, it lands.
It's like, okay,
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. All these signs have to be there because somebody somewhere is going to say, I didn't know, And so that's just our culture. That's our society.
Yeah.
That is
We're
our
a lawsuit
society.
society.
But we always overreact in at my work, and I mean we're going into these stories of like work kitchens somehow. But at my work, the funniest thing happened. There was never salt anywhere. Okay, so if you're sitting, everything was there, even pepper was there, but no salt. And it's like, what happened to the salt? All the salt is gone. Somebody swept away all the salt. What happened? Well, apparently somebody at work, and again, it's overreach and overreaction, somebody at work had found this formula on the internet on how to boil eggs in the microwave. Okay, apparently it's a scientific experiment. It requires a lot of salt. So they were taking salt shakers and putting a bunch of salt in a bowl of water and putting eggs.
It makes it boil faster.
I guess.
No, it flavors it.
No, it
not
boils it
flavor.
faster.
It also flavors the egg.
But it's more than that. It's about not bursting the egg. So it's a scientific, just
I
by
see.
adding salt, it doesn't burst the eggs, which it would.
Okay.
So this guy is going there, boiling eggs, emptying out salt containers. And I guess whoever was filling salt was like, wait a minute, what's happening to the salt? I filled it out yesterday. It's empty again. Who's eating?
Somebody has a really high blood pressure.
So the
around
way
here.
to instead of like talking to that one person and saying, can you stop doing that? They took away all the salt from the building. That was their solution to
But
this one
here's
person.
the thing. Sometimes it is awkward to have
Yeah.
a conversation directly with a person. So the solution
easier
is
to
to be that
take-
passive aggressive person that just posts a sign up. I know I have a sign in my office that says clean your cups. Because people were leaving cups in the sink.
Yeah.
And who the heck is going to come clean up your cup?
You
So
know
sometimes
where
you would
they-
think these are obvious things, but people don't understand like social cues.
But at the same time, if you have an international, let's say there's an international environment, and you have people coming from other countries working. For example, when I was working in UK, they actually do have someone coming in at the end of the day to do dishes. And even in Ireland,
We're in an office. We're not in Ireland.
no. In the office,
This is
there.
this is like proper American etiquette. This is
It's
all,
an American
all
etiquette.
People who grew up in the United States, they know. They
no,
know,
you're
and they're
right.
still not following those rules.
But what I'm saying is, it's funny. You're right. People who grew up here would know. But let's say if you had an agent who was new to the country,
Right.
who was from a country where they do have someone coming in and cleaning up, that person would
Assume. They
Yeah,
would
would assume.
assume.
So that one-on-one conversation in that case would be needed. So imagine if you, instead of thinking about that, you put up a sign for everyone because you don't want to have, I'm not saying you, I know you would, but a person wouldn't want to have a conversation with that one person and then decides to put signs. That's how some people handle it, unfortunately. And then you get those kind of situations where you get
but
a
there's
lawsuit.
sometimes that's what you have to do.
But there are other things people do also that are inconsiderate of people who work around them. I remember seeing an example where we had a staff space and it was so tiny that only like one grade level at a time, whoever was at lunch can fit in there, and then there's no more space, right? So it was enough chairs for all of us to fit in. Not even extra chair can fit in there. So this one person who was on maternity leave and they came back with their child and their older child to show everybody, their new baby, which is great. But then the older child, this teacher proceeded to put like the seat on the chair for her child. And then she put that older child in that seat and belted him in. So now somebody doesn't have a chair to sit on to eat lunch. And I'm sitting there going, this is so inconsiderate, knowing that it's a small space. People are coming in, they're hungry, they're tired, they need their break. And then you've taken up 2 chairs now. You're sitting in one, your child is sitting in the other one. Yes, it is, the child should be respected and given a space to sit, but you also have to think, who's not going to get this chair, who's been working all day and needs a place of peace for a little bit?
True.
So consideration should be afforded. You have the right to take that chair, but at the same time, should you? Right? So there's that should part. Same thing, palak paneer or whatever, a Mandarin Chinese dish, any dish. Spaghetti makes a lot of smell, right? Popcorn. Should you be considerate? You know, it's the should part. It's not like can you or can you not. It's should you or should you not.
You know, and another thing is, I think culturally speaking, and I don't want to take for granted the fact that some people will pick on some cultures and
They
will
do.
let other, it's whatever's familiar to them.
do.
So if they're used to eating a burrito, they will not say anything about a smell of a burrito because they're used to it. Now, whereas like sometimes there's a meat in a dish. Someone who's vegetarian is going to be very sensitive to that smell,
yeah,
but nobody
that's a good
cares
point.
because majority of the people are okay with it.
Yeah.
So a person who's like the odd one out is the one who's going to get picked at. And again, I go back to how is that situation handled rather than the situation itself is more important. And one thing though I do want to mention, normally you don't get monetary compensation unless there's some kind of monetary like a
Unless the
loss.
loss, yeah.
So, but in this case, what I'd heard was the one of the people, because there's two people, one of the people lost their some kind of a teaching assistant job. So I think there was a monetary loss.
That's
Because you
wrong.
can't just because
Yeah.
my feelings are hurt or I was disrespected, it doesn't mean it means money. But I think there was some money
Urmi,
involved.
I think, had a teaching assistant position. She said she doesn't know what happened. All of a sudden, she
Her
didn't
job
have
was
that
gone.
position.
So there was a retaliation for them,
Yeah.
like complaining about how it was handled.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
So cases, I'm sure cases are. What other cases are happening around the
you know,
world?
there are some, like, it's interesting because within cases, there's cases that are specific to our Desi culture or happening to the Desi people in different countries. And I know we kind of focus on the US most of the time, but I heard something very interesting that happened in UK that I'm kind of wondering if you guys have heard about it. There's a situation where there was a minor girl there's a grooming gang apparently in UK, and there are many, I've heard through time. But in this case, there's a grooming or a groomer who had her in his apartment, and 200 local Sikh Sangat was outside that apartment for 2 days before the police got involved because they wanted to help the girl get out. And it's unclear if she was in there voluntarily or not, but at the same time, what is a minor doesn't get choice in those kind of
But
things.
that is grooming. Grooming
That is
is when
grooming, yeah.
someone, you're being groomed to think that you're doing this out of your own independent thinking, your own decision, but you're really actually being groomed. A 40-year-old can have a lot of influence on a 14-year-old. And she was about 14 years old when this started.
Or even younger, they say.
And even younger, at 12 years old, 14 years old. In this particular case, they say she was about 14 years old when she started to communicate with this guy, or this guy started to communicate with her. Because what normal 40-year-old is going to give attention to a 14-year-old in that sense, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Red
it's
flags.
they were saying that the sister of one of these grooming men was the one who recruited her. So imagine you're just saying, I'm just going to go with my friend. I'm hanging out with my friend. And then that's how they start grooming you. And this is, I would say, bravo to all the Sangat who was there to rescue this girl. But I think in UK, there's this, they're saying 16-year-old can make their own choice of, living with this person or whatnot. But that's why the police wasn't being actively involved, and it took all that pressure from the local Sangat to get her rescued.
So I've been trying to, because the news comes in bits and pieces and there's different perspectives. So you have to kind of filter it and figure out what makes sense. So what makes sense to me from what I've heard is that, yeah, she was 14 when this guy started grooming her. And it wasn't until January 1st of this year that she ran away from home. And then she's been there inside his apartment for good 2 weeks before the parents continuously were calling the police saying, hey, help us because our daughter's run away and we don't know what's going on with her. And that's when a group called SherePunjab that got involved, and they themselves couldn't do anything. They had to recruit then 200 people, and those people were placed outside. I think they were there for 2 days without
In the cold.
in the cold, waiting and knocking on his door.
Yeah.
And there were news of like 5 or 6 other men who were going in and out of that apartment or had gone in and out of that apartment. And I did hear these guys talking, and they were talking to even the neighbors loudly and saying, hey, do you know that this is happening in your apartment complex? It was like an apartment complex. So I think a lot of other people had come and
So
support them.
even the neighbors,
did
so even the
complain, yeah.
neighbors, the neighbors had been complaining as well.
Yeah, they had
And they
been.
said that the neighbors said for many years while these people lived there, they had been having parties in the middle of the night. They were being loud. They knew some sketchy stuff was going on. They were telling the police, and nothing was getting
And they
done
saw
as well.
minors coming in and out. They saw young people, minors. So this is not, which is kind of another alarming thing that, yes, they rescued this teen girl, which is amazing. But that means there are other cases, other kids who've been affected by this grooming gang as well. So I think this should open up a whole Pandora's box where who were these other kids who were going in and out?
And not just one
and
grooming
not just
gang.
one grooming gang.
And I think the good thing is, so when these guys went in, I think the whole rescue was organized by or headed by SherePunjab, this guy Injection Singh, who leads that organization. But when he was speaking on social media, he said it wasn't just us. We got all the other organizations involved as well. We told everybody, come prepared. Do not bring any weapons or anything with you, no blades, no nothing, because the police is going to be there. The police is going to be checking. And they said it's human nature and it's our instinct sometimes to go and why don't we just beat up the guy and take the girl and leave? He said, well, that wouldn't kind of nip that issue in the bud. We have to show these people that this is not just family reacting. This is not just her brother showed up and beat the guy up. If we do that, he's just going to think, basically that he's like Romeo or Majnu. He's going to come back in a year or two. He'll be back with another girl. But if we approach it as here's an organization, here's organized people against what they're doing, and pressure them to let the girl go, to say, you know what, it's not worth it for us to continue to groom.
Too much noise.
It's too much noise to continue to groom. So we just don't want to deal with these problems, and for them to let the girls go. I think they created a blueprint of people how to handle these grooming situations, because one of the issues is people don't know how to handle that situation. Here's someone who's kind of independent, but 16-year-old is still a kid.
That's the problem. You're right. I think good job. I do want to commend them. Wow, I wouldn't know what to do. The funny thing is, we're commending them, and we see the brilliance in it. If you read some of the comments from India, because that's a different mindset, they're taunting them. I see a lot of these, Sardar men mostly saying, oh, it used to be sawa lakh se ek ladao. Now you got 200 trying to fight this one person. You guys don't have, it's not the same Sardars anymore. It's not the same world anymore. And Guruji never, if we're talking about Sikhi, even that, use your common sense. In this case, it's not even about religion. I want to make it very clear. Groomers don't care if you're Sikh, Hindu, Muslim. Who are you? They are after their victims, and they want some kind of benefit. Unfortunately, a lot of times these victims are children. And in this case, we should call her, this girl, what she is. She's a child. If she was 14 when this started happening, it doesn't matter
Even
what
at
religion.
16, she's a child.
Yeah, she's a child. And the way this organization, SherePunjab, handled it was brilliant. Because
I heard him talking, and that's exactly what he said. He said, we have to get smarter about how it shouldn't just be reaction. He said, notice, we videoed everything. That was one thing. So nobody can say you did this. Everything is on video. And nobody's saying anything threatening. We're just saying, come out, let her go. We're not going to touch you, just let her go. And then he said everything was done how it should be done. He said you have to understand how the system works in the country you're in, and how that system works, and work accordingly. And that's how they were able to get it done. Now the other people can't say, well, you threatened us, or you did this, you did
they
that.
did it the right way.
Yeah.
He said UK law, if you threaten somebody, you can be placed in jail for almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Something
and
like
he
that.
said a lot of his friends were, because they were trying to help people, and they ended up going to prison for 4 years.
So
Because the
ones who are
reaction
trying to
was,
help.
I'm going to beat you up, or I'm going to threaten you. And instead of solving the problem, they would end up in jail. And so this time his strategy was, no, we're not going to jail. You're going
to
the
jail.
groomer is going to jail. And one person was arrested. So I think that is the right way of approaching these problems now, because the problem isn't that simple. It's so, they have a network, these grooming gangs. That's why they're called gangs. They have a network, and that network has been there since the 1960s. It's not new. And they're told to, they're almost,
they're trained.
they're trained to do this.
I saw a video which was very disturbing. There was just a snippet of a video somebody had put when they were explaining this thing. And in the video, it kind of made me, it was very unnerving. A guy speaking in Punjabi,
Yeah.
giving instructions on how to get the other Punjabi girl. So basically, the guy who was speaking Punjabi seems like it was a Pakistani Punjabi guy, but his Punjabi is so comforting to me. When he was speaking, I was like, oh yeah, like I could be friends with him. Like, hey, but he was saying, look, you speak and you go to Sikh girls, and a lot of times, I mean, facts are facts. We're not trying to diss anyone. The fact is that. When you hear so it is the gangs overwhelmingly are Pakistani gangs. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, that these are Punjabi speaking people. And I have heard multiple times, not just in UK, but even here, cases have been where you just wear a kada and you speak to this girl in Punjabi and she thinks you're one of the guys, you're just one of their people. And so in one of the interviews I heard, that's what it was. And it was, there's an assumption that, and this person is sick and my family is going to be okay with it, and you start like some kind of a love affair until in most cases, you're recorded in a compromised situation, and then that is used to blackmail you into doing further harm to yourself, and basically using you as a prostitute. I do have I do have a lot of problem with the word grooming because it sounds very nice. Like we groom the dog, go to the groomer. Groomer is, what is grooming? It's a nice way of saying manipulation. It's saying getting you ready to be blackmailed. But it's almost like, how you trap an animal. You want to trap a mouse, you give them cheese. So a groomer is that person who decides what is cheese for you, and that's how they're going to attract you and trap you. So I don't know if we should have a better word for like a more appropriate word instead of groomer.
Well, it's a criminal gang who is getting you ready to be assaulted over and over. That's what grooming gang is. It's a criminal gang who's preparing you to be assaulted in many different ways over and over. And whether it's drugs, whether it's assault in other ways. But they are getting you ready for that, where you feel, you are going to start feeling that you deserve it. You're going to start feeling that
you're shamed.
You are a captivated person now. There's no way out.
Yeah.
That's how
you feel alienated.
You feel, and then they work on alienating you from your family and friends.
Usually
also.
That's step number one.
That's step isolation.
Yeah,
they will start isolating you. We have to do this training every year, and we always complain we have to do this training every year. But that is the training. What are the signs to see in students that we work with who might be being trafficked or groomed? And we have that training, and it's the hardest training to watch, but I have to get a certificate every year in this. And that's one thing they say. The step number one is isolation. Step number 2 is, like, for example, if you're a coach, right? Step number 2 is getting that person saying, you're the best athlete on our team. I'm going to coach you one-on-one and make you even better. So now you're getting them isolated even further in one-on-one situations. And, then the other things start happening where now this child has no way out because they're going to be blackmailed.
See, I think grooming is a good word to use, and I'll tell you why. Because if you use an extreme word, well, if you say, well, is it sexual assault? Is it rape that's happening? And the person would say, well, that's not what's happening to me. So I'm not affected by it. The reason you're using a lesser extreme term to describe it is that process of manipulation that somebody can see, I'm being groomed. I'm getting ready to be sort of alienated. I'm getting ready to be compromised.
Right.
They're able to identify that sort of kindness, that sugar-coated kindness, that sugar-coated evil, right? That's coming your way. You can identify it. So that's why I think the word grooming is, in a way, it's good because, I think there's a famous singer who was, turned out that he was speaking to this actress who's only like 14 years old. They're exchanging text messages and it came out. And people said, well, he's grooming her because in 4 years, she's going to be 18. And at that point, he can start actually making his move. He's getting her ready so that when she's an adult, they can actually have that relationship. So that's why the word grooming to me is sometimes people don't even take action, but these are older men that are starting to identify, when she's 18 now, I can make my moves. Or when she's 16, I can go ahead and make my moves. They're already prepping these girls for it.
Well, the grooming is sort of an all-inclusive term, but I also agree that it is a soft term to use for what horrendous things that they do to the child.
Yeah.
But I think if they just say this one thing, then it becomes just that one thing. So I think that inclusive term, something inclusive, more broader, has to be there because that's going to become an umbrella for a lot of the things, legally speaking. So I wonder if it's a technical term, legal term that they use so that a lot of things can be prosecuted.
A child predator.
Well, so that many...
That's the term.
So that multiple things can be...
Pedophile.
Right, but that's about that person. What I'm saying is the process that's happening so the multiple things can be prosecuted under that term. Because if they just say drug use, then it's just that one thing.
No, we get
right?
it. Legally, you're being very precise and
Right.
particular, and to make sure it's a big umbrella, so you can put a lot of people under it. But my problem is in the media and in general, like in popular terms, like in pop culture.
Yeah.
Grooming gang. Oh, it's just part of the grooming gang. I'm just part of the...
They just
You're
give 'em
raping
candies.
people. You're raping children. You're not just, this, I'm just, It's a very softball term, in my opinion. And I think it kind of washes over, kind of like whitewashes the real crimes that are happening against children. And not just against children. I know we've been talking about children, but what is an 18-year-old?
Like
in
a
my eyes,
vulnerable people, basically.
and what is a 30-year-old? And what is a 38-year-old? What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, if you're getting someone ready to be attacked and raped and manipulated and blackmailed, I don't care if she's 80. That is still a bad thing. So that's why I'm saying it's like, call them rape gangs. It's not even just children. Of course, when it comes to children, we are hyper aware and we're hyper concerned. But that's
Also,
what it is.
I think another point is that what is going on with the... I wonder. My question is, I wonder these targeted children, vulnerable populations, are they mostly coming from working class families, or are they mostly being targeted also from wealthy families? Like, what population is being affected the most? That would be an interesting data to have, because just from my own thinking, I'm thinking working families, moms standing at the store, all day working, dads at another store, gas station, or whatever, working. And then these children are sort of, parents are assuming they're home, they're doing what they need to do, or maybe they go to their friend's house, maybe they're meeting for a school project or whatnot, but that's not in these children's cases, that's not what's happening. They're going to their groomer, or groomers picking them up from school even, right? So who are these families whose kids are being affected is what I want to know.
Well,
Where is the problem?
According to this Injection Singh, he was saying that it's a lot of times it's this two extremes. It's one that someone who comes from a very strict family and is, they're walking alone to school, they're coming home alone, they don't have a lot of friends, they're already sort of an alienated, isolated type of person that becomes an easy target because they have already no one to talk to or bounce ideas off of. And then another is somebody who's, they're very independent kids, right? Like they can go to their friends and spend the night, and the parents are like, yeah, okay, you're going to go spend the night at your friend's house, go for it, So it's kind of like these two extremes. So I don't know about, financially where the parents stand. But these are parents, I would say, in either circumstances, these are probably very busy parents that don't necessarily have the time or maybe the means to spend that extra time with their kids. That's his opinion.
Or it might be a stay-home mom who says, okay, you are going to go work on homework with your,
I actually personally don't think, I personally don't think we should even think about who the parents are. Why? Because you could be the most perfect parent, and something's happening in school with the teacher. Okay,
right.
I remember when my daughter was in elementary school, and she happened to have a male teacher.
I remember that.
Yeah, and he was just so popular with all the kids. He was so popular. He was like a rock star.
He was popular with the parents too.
Oh yeah, he was so popular. I got a weird feeling on a back to school night where I was asking him a lot of questions, as I should as a parent. And I noticed he wasn't making eye contact. And that was like, there was some micro expressions that just kind of made me uncomfortable. And I remember thinking, either he didn't like me at all, or there was something going on that I don't know, maybe, but I did question him. So during that year, he would take kids out of school and take them, whoever did exceptionally well in certain exam or whatever, he would take them once a quarter to this burger joint nearby in his own car.
You're not supposed to do that.
But he did. And this wasn't that long ago. This was like 20 years ago. You're right. But
parents probably get permission thinking,
maybe he got permission slips or something.
There's a lot more you have to do than just parent giving you permission.
No, but this is 20 years ago. I don't know if things were different.
It was the same.
But this was happening in this very posh school.
That means the administration is also at fault.
So here's the thing. So one time my daughter was supposed to go. She was very upset because she got sick that day. She was so upset because she was looking forward to it. And fast forward 5 years, I find out, because I was still in touch with some of the parents of smaller kids that were now older kids, that he was accused of sexually abusing kids.
Yeah.
So that basically is the situation. If I could have been that parent, no matter how hyper aware I was, how careful I was. My kid is in this. So my daughter was in this pedophile's class for a year, and I questioned her after that, like as any parent would. I'm like, did anything happen? She's like, nothing happened with me, Mom. Don't worry. Nothing happened with me. In fact, I always got the impression he didn't like my daughter.
Which is great.
Which is great. And so that was just luck. I don't think I had anything to do with that. That was just, and I wouldn't even say someone was protecting my daughter. If someone was protecting my daughter, why weren't they protecting the other kids?
No, but I think my point also is, yes, it can happen. That's what I was saying. You could be a stay-home mom and be at school volunteering all day.
Yeah.
It can still happen. But I think you still want to study, like, is there some sector of the population that's affected way more than another sector? Just, you should have this data. Like, if there needs to be intervention done, where should the where are the resources mostly needed? That's how you make.
I would say resources are needed to make sure when you find one, they are punished so harshly that someone thinks 10 times before doing it again. I think when it comes to children, I'm all for all means possible.
I
Off
think if
with your
somebody
head,
does
you
with
have
your,
to-
some-
well,
something does
yeah.
that to the child, I think they should be the candidate for death penalty.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
there
off with your head.
should be public, identification
Public
of that
hanging.
person, which luckily, in the United States, when someone does something like this, they're convicted of it. Their name goes into a database. You can see their photos. You can track where they're living, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think but here's the thing. I think where the grooming part of it is a little bit tricky because it's by law, it's not as black and white, right? Because they're saying the 16-year-old is legal.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
So, a 16-year-old and a 40-year-old, and she was getting ready since 14. They were already influencing her, telling her to come. She would go visit the apartment. She wouldn't stay there. She would visit the apartment. She would go home. Her parents thought she was studying, right? Parents doing their best. I'm
So
not
they
saying
thought
that
she
the
was
parents
studying with the friend.
with a
potentially.
friend,
She
and
would
she was
just
going
say, "I
to
have a
his
class,
house."
I have a project,
So
I
when
have-
she was
yeah.
16, that's when she moved in completely with him, and that's just a child, right?
Right.
That's just a child, doesn't know any better. So that's why I think the terms like grooming is good because it's identifying that here's somebody who's putting influence on you, might not do something, but they're starting to put influence on you. So that as soon as you're legally ready, now someone can claim that that's your own decision that you made, right? That
That's
they're
why
not.
she said once
that
she was
manipulation didn't happen.
Yeah, once she was 16, then she can leave home and start living there.
Right. So
That's-
legally, they don't. The cops can't do anything about
It's the
it.
same thing. I think about the term trafficking. Okay, when they say, "Oh, they're trafficking kids," they're trafficking women. What is trafficking? Like to me, that term is again a softball term. It doesn't really speak to what's happening to those women and children. Trafficking children,
or
trafficking
human
girls,
trafficking,
human trafficking
for slave labor, for example.
So why don't we call it they are kidnapping people to use as slaves? Doesn't that sound like, oh my God, I better hide. I better
true.
not talk to. Why do we say trafficking?
Or
Grooming,
even why
trafficking,
do we say domestic violence? Violence is violence. Somebody was attacked and all
and
could
it's
have
a
been
softball
killed.
term. Yeah.
How is street violence different than domestic violence?
violence,
Why
yeah.
are we giving that term? Even they did a study on naming hurricanes. Like if the name of the hurricane is a female name, people think it's not going to be as
like
dangerous.
Hurricane Irma. Oh, she's gonna be just
Hurricane Helene, for example, right? But if it's a male name, all of a sudden everybody prepares better for it, that it's going to be like really bad.
Names matter.
So what you
Titles
call it
matter.
absolutely does matter.
Yeah, so I would propose, and I would really, I'm not convinced. Thank you, Kapta, for explaining. I do get it. I do get your point of view, but I'm not convinced grooming is appropriate name for what is going on behind the scene. I'm not convinced trafficking is an appropriate term for what is happening behind the scenes to children and women and people in general. If I said somebody's going to kidnap you, be careful because I hear this now in the news, right? Be careful. There's traffickers everywhere. Okay. Oh, there's kidnappers.
all of a sudden everybody's going to lock their doors and
I'm
put
just
their
saying.
kids inside the house.
Wait, here's the thing. In the Desi community, we shy away from these kind of conversations. Now, you may be a little bit different. You may have had an open conversation with your daughter,
Of course.
your
Oh my
kids.
God. Yeah.
But a lot of parents, they shy away from those topics, right? So when you shy away from those topics, you just say you're not going to date. And with that,
You can't talk to a guy.
For them, yeah, for
That's how
them,
they
that's
protect
a
their children. You just can't talk to
so
the male
that
population.
extreme is not practical, right?
Yeah.
So the kids are gonna be like, brush it away. Yeah, of course. When I leave the house, I've got friends that are boys. I'm gonna talk to them, and if I want to go out on a date, I'm gonna go out on a date. Maybe there's a rebellious kid, right? So what I'm saying is that parents should sit down, have a proper conversation. You know, this is why I'm telling you not to talk to a boy. Now, I'm not, the kid can say, well, mom, I gotta talk to the guys. Well, here are the type of people that I want you to stay away from and be aware of These are the situations that are out there. These are the manipulations that happen. You're not going to see it coming, but it's going to happen. If a 40-year-old is giving you attention, that's a problem. Get them involved in more like these martial arts so that mentally, physically, they feel strengthened. There's a community, because if you've known any martial arts people, I mean, they really they'd love to create sort of a group that's a social group also.
Well, that's
Like
like
a support
soccer.
group.
Like a support
that's like
group,
a soccer
yeah.
team, soccer, the soccer mom phenomena. It's like those are your friends. Those are the people you hang out with.
I thought that was really good, because I think that in a way this is getting the community to focus on the girls as well, because I feel like the girls kind of get their needs, their the attention that they need to kind of lead a happy, healthy life. In the Desi community, it kind of gets pushed down a lot of times. Like, oh, the way to handle it is you just don't let them out of the house. Don't talk to boys and don't date, and
Like
then
they
that'll
need
handle the
wings
situation.
also, but give them the wings that will actually help them fly rather than fly in the wrong place.
Encourage them also,
One thing
give
I
them
would
the
say-
attention that they need.
I think you would get more buy-in from the girls, the kids, if the same attention, and it should be given, same attention and public naming and shaming is done when the community itself is grooming. It's not a gang, but you have a pedophile somewhere, some uncle, some whatever,
Neighbor, some
neighbor, whatever,
family friend.
part of the community who is accused and potentially is a pedophile. And that's when you do the under the rug thing. So I think we would have a more, like as adults, we would have a more reason and a voice and buy-in from the kids if we were treating a pedophile like a pedophile.
Like a criminal.
Grooming like grooming. Whether it's uncle next door doing it, Pai at the Gurdwara is doing it, or a grooming gang is doing it. So I think as a community, and I'm not speaking just to the Sikhs, I'm speaking not just
This
to the
is for
Desis.
general-
This is
yeah.
generally that when you do find someone who's harming children, that you name and shame them, name and shame them. I mean, we've been dealing with Epstein files, right? Like how everyone's so protected. And what is it teaching the children? It's teaching the children, don't even bother.
Yeah.
The adults, they care more about money. They care about their friends. They're protecting each other. They don't care about these no-name children. And that's what we're teaching. And what's happening with the Epstein files is that messaging is coming down to everyone, regardless of race, color, religion. So as adults, if there's one thing we can do is do that equal messaging. And I've heard of situations before where well-known people in the community are protecting someone because नहीं वो बहुत अच्छा सी लेकिन पता नहीं की हो
Well,
गया
that's
शायद
happened
कुछ
in-
miscommunication हो गई. Don't
Yeah.
whitewash these kind of crimes. And especially I'm a firm believer, look within ourselves first, okay? Cure the cancer in our bodies first before we go cure the world. And as much as I hate these grooming gangs, I would really challenge our own community to say zero tolerance.
Yeah.
Can we build
I think
zero
there
tolerance?
should be zero
Yeah.
tolerance for anybody.
Yeah.
You brought up Epstein files, right?
Yeah.
Now, these are children who are adults now who were targeted. They were groomed. They weren't right away assaulted.
Absolutely,
They were
yeah.
groomed first,
Yeah.
right? And same thing, if you look at the Catholic
Priests,
Priests,
it happened
right?
for years. Yeah.
grooming before all that happens. So, and they've been protected as well. So I think our entire world needs to look at it. It's not particularly one community. Yes, in UK, a lot of majority of the grooming gangs, yes, they're saying, from a certain part of the world, but it happens everywhere. And I think every community needs to look within. And like you said, cure those cancers, remove those cancers, name and shame them. I absolutely believe that. There
Yeah.
is no excuse for somebody harming children.
Yeah, and I do want to give shout out to Sikh Awareness Society in UK. I forget the name of the Paiji who does it, and he does an excellent job. He's been doing it for
yes,
like
I
20
heard
plus
that.
years.
Yeah.
And in fact, even this girl, when she was brought out, he was the one. It's been given she's under his organization's care,
Okay.
as protection as well, and then they're giving her the support and the counseling.
And
that
the
she
first
needs.
thing, whoever's working with this child who's been rescued, you know, do not make her give you all the details right away. Let her heal before you ask all the details. Because if you're asking her for details, it's assaulting, it's repeated assault. You are shaming her. She is not going to be ready to tell you things until she's ready to tell you. Right now, all she needs is a lot of love and affection and care and protection.
Protection.
Yeah.
100%.
But here's the thing. This may lead to some other extremes, right? If we're talking about girls as being vulnerable, being the targets, what does that lead to? Even more control and more pressure on the girls to not leave the house, not leave without a chaperone, right? Like to completely, again, isolate them into
sure.
the home. And my concern here is that, is it going to encroach further on their independence, on their ability to achieve anything, right? It limits their resources if they can't leave the house and pursue a career and do all of that. I think some people may jump the gun, go to this other extreme and say, oh, well, we know how to control this. We're just not going to let her out of the house or let her out of our sight.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I can kind of understand it too, because it's scary. Because look, in England, just a few months ago, there's been two or three cases where Sikh women were attacked and raped as they were walking. That is very scary. And especially if it's happening in the same similar locality, that is very scary. What is going to be the parent's natural response? I'm going to walk with you. Next time you're going somewhere, we're going to drive you like that.
I would say the reaction should be completely opposite. And that's how it should be. I think that's what would cure the problem. It's like taking it from inside out. The reaction should be, hey, we're going to have open communication. If you are talking to a boy, I want to know. I want to meet him. The child should feel like, and I'm talking about a 14-year-old, okay? And I'm a mother of a daughter, so no one can accuse me of like, I don't understand. I do understand. I'm raising a daughter. But the reaction should be the opposite. It should be that your daughter should feel super comfortable coming to you. Why do you think non-Desi parents, they want to meet the boyfriend? They want to meet the girlfriend. Why do you think they do that? They have their doors open so the kids don't have to lie.
Yeah, but
they can come in.
But what's happening is they were attacked by people
No,
that they
I'm
don't
not talking
know.
about those.
That's a different
I'm
situation.
talking about different things.
Yeah, but
which
I'm
is
talking about this.
infusing fear in people.
And fear is the worst thing. Fear is the worst thing you can do in this situation. There should be open communication. You should know where your kids are. You should know their friends. You should know their friends' parents. And there should be no shame. And once you have that, your kid is talking to you, they're telling you, that's the best way to fight, hiding the secrets. So if you think you're doing yourself a favor by telling your kids you can't date, you can't talk to the person of opposite sex, okay, boys can't talk to girls can't talk to boys, that breeds secrecy. People who want to take advantage of your kids will take advantage of that, because guess what? Mommy doesn't need to know you're talking to this guy who's like a 30-year-old, or you're interested in this girl. No one needs to know. Who is she? What is she doing? So it goes both ways. I'm not just talking about girls.
I think we're talking apples and oranges.
No, we're
here.
not.
Yes, we
what
are.
I'm saying is, even with this grooming gangs, they take advantage of this secrecy that we have as a culture and shame that we give girls for talking. And then next thing you know, oh, I'm going to give you flowers. Oh, I've never gotten flowers. Let them date.
Right.
Let them
I
get
100%
flowers.
agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these women who were being attacked by people they don't know.
Women get attacked
Hold
all
on.
the time.
No. But
Yeah.
you're again,
Yeah.
let me finish. these women were walking, and repeatedly within a certain very close time period in the similar locality. And these were not even people of Desi, you know, these are like completely somebody that they didn't even know who they were.
Yeah.
They didn't even recognize them, like not even neighbors. But they were randomly being attacked, and it was the Sikh women who were being attacked. And that community, a lot of the Sikhs were saying, this is, I'm going to have to now walk with, we don't know what's going on. Who's attacking our, and they were particularly targeting Sikh girls.
That's a different situation.
So that is a different
to
situation
grooming.
I'm talking about, where
that's
yes, as a parent, I'd be like, oh my goodness, because they weren't just attacking them. They were like really, really bad.
Right, but you're
we
talking
understand.
about safety issues, and
I'm talking
safety
about
is
safety.
different. Yeah,
I'm not
safety is
what
different.
you're saying is a whole different point.
But,
Absolutely.
No,
I
but
wanna
you
know,
two are talking about two different things.
Yeah,
Because
we're
we're
talking about two
talking
different
about a
things,
real
yeah.
safety issue, and that I
Exactly.
understand. Where you want to kind of make sure there's a chaperone, make sure there's somebody, nobody walks alone. It's a group of people
It could
walking
be like
together
anybody
all the
being
time.
targeted, and you
You're
wanna be
talking
like-
about identifying grooming.
Yes.
Making sure that your child is comfortable to approach you, sharing all their sort of
Yeah.
secret information, shares everything openly with you so that you are able to make sure that they're constantly safe
Yeah,
and,
and
not
even-
getting into those
Right.
And even
situations
that
like
others-
grooming situations.
I also have very strong opinion about that other issue,
you
which
can,
exists
but
worldwide.
all
No
I'm saying
one's-
is we're talking
No.
about two different
But
things.
what I'm
let me-
saying, can I
ahead. Yeah.
please? Okay. Even that other issue, okay. I think the solution is similar, in my opinion. The anti to solution, non-solution is to say, oh, there's so much fear. That's what happens in India. You won't find a girl in a market in certain city after 8 p.m. It's almost like a non-verbal, like it's an understood curfew. And what happens then, if someone happens to be in that market as a woman, she is now the only woman in the market and all eyes are on her. And it makes the market unsafe because now we put fear in women's minds. And I think the solution to a lot of these things is more women everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I mean, that makes
Yeah.
Right,
sense
but if
to me
someone
too.
says, "Hey,
But-
don't go down that street. There's a killer there."
Yeah,
you're
you
not
wouldn't.
gonna.
Yeah.
So what she's talking about is different. You're talking about more of a
it's a-
social problem where if they had more women out, being independent and walking around at different
I'm
times of the
talking about
day.
a particular incident
Yeah.
that started.
So
to
you guys are
happen.
again talking
It's a
about two different
particular
things.
phenomena that
Completely
was
different
happening.
But here's
topic.
here's the issue that I have, and we start getting into some dangerous territory here with girls and let's start limiting girls because there are now people also saying, oh well, here's the thing, our girls have become too soft, they've become little princesses, their aim is only to be a princess, they see all this stuff on social media, on Instagram, they're posting cute pictures, they're posting pictures of them wearing revealing clothes, and that's attracting all the attention from all these other men. And that's the problem. And the way to solve it is to, tell them to dress like they're living in 1980s
To
India.
put a burqa on them,
Right.
it doesn't
Although
matter.
1980s people dressed like
People
that too.
dress like that too, but that's the other extreme. So now it's going from encouraging girls to be independent and strong mentally and physically to now encroaching on their independence and their right to live and breathe. Look, it doesn't have to be one or the other. They can be, on Instagram looking cute. They can also take martial arts. They can also still be mentally strong in many ways. Don't assume that one thing means that they're weak, that they're soft.
Why is the attention always on the girl? Put the attention on the guys who are doing it. Put it on the society that allows this kind of things to
If
continue.
he's a 40-year-old, we should be
Yeah.
able to see what he looks like.
Yeah, why are we
Why are we
protecting
Why are we
this guy?
protecting
Yeah,
him?
yeah.
No, we did see him in one video.
Oh, you did? I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
Oh, you
he's
did?
Injection Singh or one of those guys. The camera was on the pedophile, and he was
He
saying
was hiding his face,
no,
right? That one? Oh, okay.
this is like standing outside his apartment or something, and
I'll
he
take a screenshot and share with all of
yeah,
us.
I should. He was saying like, "Hey, you are 34-year-old. What are you doing with a 16-year-old?" And I think that at that point, 16-year-old was standing right there too, but they blurred her face, and that's when I think they might have come out of the apartment at that time. That's the video of that. I should share. I will share. But yeah, his face is on there. Yeah.
It's good that everyone's talking about it. It's good that all these reports are coming out. We're all discussing these things openly.
Yeah.
And I love that the entire community has come up with a way to approach this in a way that tries to solve that problem from its roots. From its roots
In a
hopefully
constructive way.
in a constructive way without
absolutely.
anybody getting harmed, without creating more chaos. And the way they've protected this girl in this whole situation, because one of the things is that, if this happened in India, they would have everybody's faces everywhere, including the girl's face.
And her family.
And her family had
blasting-
pinned. They would go to her pinned
They would go. And so
interviewing people.
luckily they have not done that. So we have no idea what she looks like, who her family is. And that's a way to protect them. And again, good on the family to try to take every opportunity and every means that they could to try to get her out of that situation.
And even I think Injection Singh himself was saying that, we are not going to publicize like the family names and this and that because it's scary. Like it's long-term impact on
It
that
limits
family.
other girls from coming out and talking
Yeah.
about it because they'll say, well, I want to get out of this situation, but I don't want my name. I don't want my family's name, getting, being printed everywhere, being posted everywhere. And so then people start manipulating the story even further, right?
But
So they
what
get
was
away with
so
that.
what was so a positive thing out of it was that I was reading the social media comments where these videos were being posted by SherePunjab or other organizations. A lot of the non-Desi community commenting, and they were saying, this is the right thing to do. So glad they did it. And then I was listening to these people who were there rescuing this girl, the Sangat members. They were saying, somebody did say that it's not just Desi community or Sikh girls particularly being targeted. The other kids are also from other groups, and they were saying we would do this for anybody. It's not just for that because she happens to be a Sikh, so we're here. They said we're here for any child that's being harmed like this. We're gonna be there.
You know what? I checked out the website for Sikh Awareness Society because there was somebody commenting saying, you're doing this for
Just because
Sikh
it's
girl,
one of your
you don't
people.
care about anybody else or something like that. And so I remember watching this documentary. I think his name is by Mohan Singh. I could be
think
wrong.
so.
And he specifically talks about how this is for, they don't limit, they purposefully, the way they identify themselves and the way even their social media, it's not Sikh focused. It's not about like if you're a Sikh and this happens, if you're anybody. And this happens. And I actually went to their website to see if that claim was correct. There's nothing other than their name, Sikh Awareness Society. There's nothing in their website that says anything about Sikh girls, Sikh children. It's anybody who's in that situation. They will come and help you. So that was very heartening to see.
Have you
that.
seen that guy's Injection Singh?
Yeah.
That you don't want to mess with that guy.
I saw him on
you don't
video.
wanna, you don't want to mess with that guy.
Well, good that he is there.
Yeah.
Because he organized this whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we need people like that.
You know who else you don't want to mess with? Okay.
Karan Aujla.
Yeah, Karan Aujla.
So
the
we're
whole world
going-
comes to protect the guy.
Yeah, so it's funny. We're going from a very, very serious topic to a lighter topic, and it's lighter for us. It's probably not light for the parties involved. But it's been in the news lately that there's somebody named Miss Gori who is putting she's accusing. We don't know if that's correct or not. It's her accusation that she had some kind of a relationship with Karan Aujla, and she didn't realize at that time when she had the relationship that he was married, and he's completely. And she's saying now he's denying it, and there's a lot of pressure on her to not talk about it. So actually, it was curious because everyone called her. So everyone kept saying, "There's a Gori, there's a Gori," and well, Gori in obviously in Punjabi means white. And I was like, is somebody's name
white girl.
White girl. Maybe somebody's name is Gori? What is this Gori? Maybe it's a last name that's Gori because we've heard of the last name Gori. So I actually went on her Instagram, TikTok to look at her. And it's interesting because it is Gori, Gori, and it is meant to be a white woman in Punjabi. And
But is she a white woman?
she is a blonde woman, and she makes a lot of videos and collaborations with these Punjabi guys.
I think she might be. I've seen her face, and I want to say she might have some Punjabi blood in her.
Does not look like it from her, from actually
Because I
looking
saw
at
her.
her.
I mean, I saw her. I listened to a little bit.
I
I
couldn't
can
tell.
sense some. I can sense some.
I can see she's obsessed with Punjabi men, or I'm like, for anyone who's I would be careful about going to her TikTok because most of the videos are very suggestive, very sexualized, and that's her shtick.
That's going to encourage people to go on there, actually. You're
So, I
encouraging
was
the
like,
guys
oh,
listening.
I
They're
had
like,
to
yeah,
kind of-
I got to check it out.
You know, we were talking
I
about
don't
bad
know.
smells earlier. I had to kind of hold my breath and kind of like look, real quick.
I can tell you what's happening.
Okay, tell me.
Okay, I can tell you.
Okay.
Her name is Miss Gori, and she's saying she had no idea what was going on in Karan Aujla's life.
Yeah.
Like you're calling yourself Miss Gori, meaning that you know Punjabi culture pretty well.
Yeah,
You
does.
are targeting a certain kind of audience, right?
Yep.
Because you're gonna get the Indian men,
The popularity.
Right?
She's already well known now because of it.
Okay.
She's already got
Karan
the...
Aujla has been very open about his wife.
He
right?
talks
Him
about
being
her
married.
constantly.
Everybody knows. People
Yeah.
who don't even care to listen about Karan Aujla, his wife has not been somebody who's kind of like in the closet.
Behind
Like
the
everybody
scenes, yeah.
knows he's married. Everyone's seen her photos. She's with him at parties and whatever. Now, is he completely faithful all the time? I don't know. He is a star.
Faithful
People
all the time?
generally.
You
Well, let me
Did you
finish
just
this.
lower the bar for
You're
somebody?
let me
faithful or
let me
not?
tell you what's going to happen. Okay, we are going to hear that you're already telling me that Miss Gori has Instagram that's very suggestive,
very.
very suggestive.
Yeah, in my opinion,
Oh,
my very delicate mind.
In about a
okay?
week or so, she's going to say, "By the way, this is my OnlyFans profile or
I'd
whatever
be
they have. I
surprised
don't
if
know
she doesn't have one already.
if she
okay?
doesn't have one
Yeah,
already,
I would be surprised.
She is building her clientele, her audience for that, and then she's gonna have. They tend to make a lot of money on OnlyFans. I don't know. You always
Apparently.
hear like people are like making $1 million a month or
You
something
always
or
hear
other.
that, yeah.
Well, she's getting her Desi audience ready. That's what she's doing.
I would second what you're saying. I do agree because from what I saw, because I knew zero about her. From what I saw, most of the videos have some sick man in it. She's got like these sidekicks, these like part of the like her team. And they go in and they make very strange videos. It's almost like she's married to them or something like in the kitchen. Okay, she's cooking and it's like, what are you making? Cha or something. And just a joke about it. So she's obviously targeting Punjabi men in particular. And there's plenty of them. I think by just talking about this, some would get
It's porno for Punjabis.
Pornos for- yeah.
It's living out their fantasy.
But we have to be
of-
careful. We shouldn't call
well,
it porno for Punjabis.
Well,
We should just say.
I mean, that's her
it's
audience.
Suggestive. It's suggestive.
That's what she's building towards.
That's your guess.
That's my guess. That's
You're
what I
not saying for
estimate. I
sure.
think
Yeah.
that you're going to see.
Allegedly.
We don't know. Allegedly.
This is going to
Yes.
be soft porn
Kavita,
for
say
Punjabis.
allegedly.
Okay,
Allegedly,
allegedly soft
yes.
porn for Punjabis.
Yes.
And she's showing like their wildest dreams of this Gori
Gori,
Kudi.
Miss Gori.
This Gori Kudi working in the kitchen making them paronte.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so, yeah, I mean, come on.
That
she's
makes her
very
followers like
strategic.
losers.
That makes her a really good business person,
And
actually.
her followers like losers, like the people you don't want to
One
communicate with.
thing I would say with all of that, I am not still convinced that she is necessarily lying. I'm not accusing her of that. You know why? Because we don't know. We actually don't know. Just because, so what we're doing now is we are actually going, oh yeah, she makes this kind of content. So that automatically means that she might be using this information for her benefit, but do we know if that information is truth or not? We don't know.
Why
We
would
actually
we
don't
even?
know.
Why are we even accusing him of being
We're not.
faithful? Right? You
mean
can't.
unfaithful?
We don't know. Faithful.
accusing him
I'm
of being
sorry.
faithful? I don't
The-
understand.
The expectation from a famous person to be faithful is very naive.
Wait, I don't
on people.
understand. I'm not following your logic.
I'm
we
saying
are,
that people are not faithful. Famous people are not faithful. And by the way,
that's
this
a
is not
very
the first
general
time.
topic.
This is
I mean,
not
that's
the
a very
first
general
time.
statement.
Exactly. So I'm saying, why are we singling out Karan Aujla? Like,
Why
oh my
are we
God,
expecting him to be? Why are we
he's
expecting him to be
unfaithful.
faithful?
Like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
I mean,
What
I'm
if
not
he's
saying
not unfaithful?
we
But
don't know.
here's
if
the
he-
thing: we don't know.
There have been stories out there in the past.
Okay, but we
Okay.
really don't know.
There have
because-
been stories out in the past regarding the same topic with Karan
him.
Aujla.
With him.
He's been guilty of it.
There's
and look,
way too much smoke
I mean,
in the air.
I see.
I'm not surprised, and I don't really care. To be
But
honest,
at the
I don't
same
care.
time, I care enough about Miss Gori or Karan Aujla to have to make
Wait,
up
we're
my mind.
talking about
I'm
it.
gonna say I read this, and I'm still not. I can't be convinced of what she's saying, and I can't be convinced of his defense either.
I think the only thing that would bother me more than anything is the hypocrisy. If it is true, the hypocrisy part bothers me because he has, he's kind of flaunting around his wife and he's getting a lot of brownie points for, and I'm sorry, like his wife, this is people's perception. I think she's gorgeous, but, he's considered like this.
Superstar?
Yeah, superstar. And she's just your average Joe. She's ordinary woman.
She's
Doesn't
actually
act
very
like
pretty.
a-
She's
pretty.
actually very pretty.
I
Yeah.
said that she's pretty.
Yeah.
But, she's not model. None of us are. But so, and she's known him since before. And a lot of times I've heard this too, that anyone who's with the man who gets, I mean, this is before he gets really super rich, before he gets very popular, that woman, he will leave to dust because he will always want to. He always thinks, now, if that was my potential, he looks at that as par. That's par. And I need to go up from there. Okay. So if she's a superstar, he'll still want a greater superstar. That's what people say. Okay. There's no
people might
scientific.
not always
Maybe
right.
There's no scientific.
So here's the thing.
Yeah, but
Sometimes, sometimes when you hear movie
that bothers
stars,
me because I think it bothers me when I hear like statements that are made generally.
We are
about,
making
like,
general statements,
but
but we have no
that-
scientific facts about
Right.
Karan
So I
Aujla.
think that does bother me because these are real. Well, the reason it bothers me is because these are real people. Karan Aujla is a real person. Miss Gori is a real
They're
person.
public
His wife
figures.
is yeah, but that doesn't mean that we have a full-on license to say whatever. So I think we don't really know if he had an affair or not, and we don't know.
But she's accusing him. So
She's accusing him.
Exactly.
We can be sure of that. 'Cause
we
she
are
is
talking about
openly
that
accusing him.
accusation. We are simply talking about that accusation. And
what
then we're
I'm saying
looking
is,
at-
I think there's a bigger picture here. There's a bigger topic here of two people being married. Okay. Two people being married. Maybe the wife is aware that this is a tendency of my husband. Okay. He goes off, he cheats, then he comes back home, he's with his wife. They may have an arrangement. I'm not saying they do for sure. They may have an arrangement that they are okay with, that works for them. He gets whatever it is out of his system. He comes home, he's a great husband to her. And that's what she wants. Ultimately, that's
What
what
if
she
she was
wants.
to do the same
we
thing?
assume
Would we be so
that's-
openly for
she's happy,
acceptable to
but
that?
it's none of my business. My comment, what my opinion is on their relationship. I know there's a certain type of relationship that I want in my marriage. But that doesn't have to be the same for everybody else. There are a lot of people out there that would be totally okay with the husband being out, having their relationships, coming back home to the
But
the
here's my
husband.
here's my
It can also
issue.
be the wife
Right.
out there having the relationships
But
and coming back
you're
home.
saying that now, but most of the society who we can even when we listen to a statement like that, and that includes all of us, right? When I say society, she's okay, her husband goes whatever, lives his life, and then eventually he comes home and she's okay with that. That doesn't sound as bad. What if our ears heard, well, her husband is working and they're okay if she goes out, she has affairs with multiple men, and then I know we're saying that now because we're recognizing the hypocrisy even in our own biases here. But when she comes home, the husband's like, well, at least she's home, so we're good with that. You can have
I'm
affairs.
saying that's fine too. Like
But
that's their setup.
You're saying that, but I think most of the world, that picture does not sit well. So here's my thing. If he is doing that, it shouldn't sit well with any of us either.
It doesn't
But
sit
that's
well
not
with me.
my.
Yeah.
But that's my. No, what I'm saying is my opinion shouldn't matter. If Mia Bibi Razi, so I have no opinion. I
You
can't
didn't
tell
rhyme.
people.
You didn't finish the rhyme.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
Mia
let's-
Bibi Razi, to kya karega Qazi.
Yeah.
I have no right to have my opinion, how I live my life, how I have my relationship. I should not impose that on other people.
Yeah.
If the two people are happy. Now here's the thing. If one person is not happy, then they should get out of that relationship. But if both people are okay with that arrangement, if they're okay with that
Like
arrangement
open
and
marriage.
they're happy, this works for them, they've got a rhythm going, I have no opinion.
But I
Then
think
he
it's
should
gross.
but the problem
I think
is
it's
not
gross.
with, in my
Yeah.
opinion, the problem is not, you think it's gross, you think it's okay. My problem is not about those choices. My problem is then taking someone like, if that's the case in this case, then taking someone like Miss Gori, who's saying, hey, I did have a relationship, then he should openly admit it.
Yeah.
To make her feel like, no, but why does he need to make her feel like a liar?
Yeah.
If that's the case.
has he
we
said,
don't know.
has he said
His people
he
are-
denied it? His people, or has he denied it?
But I
did he-
actually don't know. I don't know
So-
if he's openly denied it or accepted it. I don't know if that's the case. So
I
we
think
don't want to
his
misstate
team
anything.
has been making
His-
statements that
So the case, it's not about you being, living your life a certain way, but then you shouldn't go and make other people who are like, yeah, you're
Well,
living your life the other way. So
no.
you shouldn't be ashamed of it then. Then openly admit it. Just say, yeah, that's the way we
because
do
then
it.
the
Well,
other
why
person,
does it
there's
matter?
other people involved
But
too,
unless
not
you're
just
getting,
those two
unless
with
you're
each
going
other.
to prostitutes, and then having them sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, it should matter because that other party then should be able.
He
to
learned
openly-
his lesson now. Next time he's going to walk around with an NDA.
Because like the point is, yes, husband and wife, whatever their
Yeah.
arrangement is, they're okay with it. But then it involves other people also. So
Yeah,
are you
it's
being
not just
are you
one.
being just to other people because they're not part of your
Who's
plan
other people?
here.
Like,
Who
honestly,
you're
they're not.
cheating with.
But
The
other
ones who
people.
are- you're cheating with.
But she didn't need to go out there and blast it. And if she is, and if he personally, so he's being strategic also. He hasn't personally denied it or accepted it or anything.
That tells you something
His
as well.
team is doing
'Cause
it. The
if it
team
was-
is going to
if I
do the
was being
team stuff.
accused, I'd be the first one in the line to say, no, I did not.
Yeah.
I would be the first in the line to
I think
deny
he's
it.
probably thinking, of course, like I cheat. Like, why is this even an issue? Like, why is this even coming up?
So interestingly enough, it was couple of years ago, maybe couple of 3 years ago. That
Couple of 3 years
couple
ago.
of 3 years ago. That
Is that 6
someone,
years? 6
someone
3 years ago.
someone had said to me that there was a concert, Karan Aujla concert, and this person themselves, and again, this is second, third hand information, so I take zero responsibility for the accuracy. This is a game of telephone, if you will. But I did hear that, Karan Aujla was with some woman, other than his wife. And he's normally, somebody said, yeah, he cheats, okay? And this is a person who was there, apparently. And I did not believe it, okay? You know why I didn't believe it? Because I'm like, he has a wife. He's always talking about his wife.
And he had a
he's-
childhood that was so tough.
Yeah,
like you
and
just
he's-
kind of go like, wait, how can that
and
person
I
be?
do consider myself sort of a Karan Aujla fan, so I defended him. Okay, but now a person like me who had defended him years ago is looking back, going, "Oh, was there truth to it?" So there's always some, like when somebody accuses, then people like me who might have been on your side, they slide over.
So are you
breadcrumbs
are
that
you
go
now
back
going to
to-
stop listening to him?
no.
Okay, well then
It's
no,
separate
but-
art from the artist.
No,
you
wait
know?
a minute, Kavita.
it is hard to do
Kavita,
sometimes.
I
though.
think
Yeah.
I think you're giving him a total free pass. Karan Aujla, most of the time with me, I do stop listening to people if I think if it's a proven case. Like for example, Chris, what's his name? The one Rihanna's ex-husband, Chris.
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown. When
Not
I saw
ex-husband,
Rihanna's
boyfriend.
pictures, when I saw the court case, I will not listen to Chris Brown music I turn it off. If the music comes, I actually turn it off.
Like
because
R.
I will
Kelly,
not
like,
have
you
R.
stop.
Kelly. I
Yeah.
will not listen
Yeah.
to him, even though I like his songs. I like some of his songs. I will not listen to him because of now. I mean, there's people. I keep adding to that list because I do stand for something. Because in this day and age, this is not like if they're not making money from those songs. I don't want them to benefit as a person by me listening to their music.
I
Giving them
think
more
I don't
views or
see
more
that
listens.
as the crime the way R. Kelly and Chris Brown situation
and
was.
I don't
and
either.
I
Yeah.
would agree with you. There are people where it's very hard to differentiate between the art from the artist, and you're like, I just don't enjoy that song anymore. I get a weird feeling. I don't enjoy
consider
that
cheating
anymore.
as big of a crime
Exactly.
as like what
And so what I think
Chris
is
Brown
when
did
it
or
comes
R.
to
Kelly.
stars and so on, I kind of assume that that's just getting older and kind of seeing too many of these situations already that have happened, that at this point I don't see the world through rose-colored glasses anymore, that I just see that, and then at the end of the day, the way I've dealt with that is if the two people involved in that marriage are okay with that, if they're happy still
We
with whatever
assume
that
that they are,
situation is, then I have no comment in telling them how they need to live their lives as a couple. But if one person was unhappy, then I would encourage that person to leave that situation, because life is too short to be living in misery, honestly, at the end of the day.
100%, but that's their choice. I agree with you. I think two adults is a different situation. And, as long as there's no like abuse, okay, which we don't know about any relationship. You know what I'm saying? So we can't talk about that. But because I think when it comes to entertainers, when we think about it, who did we grow up with? Dharminder and Hema Malini, right?
And Dharminder cheated on his
So we
wife.
are-
And
Amitabh Bachchan.
every time I watch Dharminder's movies, I can't help but think about that fact that he cheated on his wife.
So all of these stars that we looked up to as children and we really like watched their movies with so much admiration and all that, most of them have cheated on their spouses. So we're not as sensitive to that anymore as human beings. So we just tolerate it. So to answer your question, I'll continue to listen to Karan Aujla's music. First of all, I am gonna give him benefit of the doubt that maybe all
he
of these
didn't. 'Cause we
accusations
don't
are
know.
just that.
We don't know.
Because there is a lot of money. He's a very rich guy. So there could be blackmailing. There could be other things. I'm not going to say anything. But secondly, if it comes out that he does cheat, then I'm going to just mark that as a point against him.
You're going to listen to one less song moving forward.
But I don't see myself as stop listening to his music. 'Cause
I think the thing where her story kind of falls apart for me is when she says, I didn't know he was married. You're calling yourself Miss Gori. You are going after the Punjabi audience. If you've been on social media looking up Karan Aujla, you will see his wife. Like, she's there.
Wikipedia probably has, married at a certain
Information.
time.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't know that much information, that tells us she's not very
She
bright.
never Googled him. Like, everybody
She's
Googles
been
the
living
person
under
they're
a
dating.
rock. I don't think so.
Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah.
She seems like very social media savvy person, and a person like that of that millennial or Gen Z, they know how to find information.
Well,
and
if
even
she
a person
has-
like me, like Gen X, I can find you. Give me a name,
Well, if
and
she
I'll
has-
tell you who their second cousin is. You know,
If she has other
yeah.
Punjabi people in her crew working with her,
yeah.
somebody would have told her. It's not that hard. You don't even have to Google things. You
then
can just talk to people.
If you thought he wasn't married, why were you having a secret relationship anyway?
That's
if you're
right.
with a single person, if you're
Well, because it's a movie star, and movie stars don't necessarily want to publicize all their relationships in the
you
public,
have
because they
very
don't
high
want.
regard for movie stars.
I do not. I do not. But I guess I think that they live a little bit differently. And not even movie stars. I think people in this day and age, they live a little differently. And at the end of the day, I feel like what I've come around to understand and be okay with is people are going to live their lives differently. They're going to have their own set of what they're okay with. And I don't get to impose my opinions onto what I think right is and wrong that they should adhere to. let them figure it out.
So the funniest thing was because I'm doing research on this because we tried to do some research on these topics, and AI kept calling Karan Karen.
Yeah, of course.
Karen.
It's kind of like AI puts like on, if you see some of the AI content, this is a whole different topic we're going into. Sometimes in some scenes, they'll show like a man who's walking in the Mughal court and he has like a coca. Because AI
hilarious.
couldn't figure it out. But in
The
next
outfit
scene, it
and
doesn't.
everything
Yeah.
confused the heck out of them.
So I mean, it's just so funny when I see the name Karen. It triggers me.
It's a loaded word.
It triggers me.
It's a loaded name.
It never used to
Yeah.
until like what was it about like maybe 10 years ago? You think
would
it's
think
been
so.
10 years?
Yeah.
That the word Karen suddenly got very negative connotation. It's
So Karen, when you think Karen, what do you think? What image?
I
think
need to
of
see a
Kate.
manager now.
I
need to see
think
a
of
manager
Kate. You
now.
remember Kate with the what was it? Kate
The
with the
eight kids or something?
Yeah, Kate and something. With
Kate
the,
and eight or something.
Yeah. So I think of her like that hairstyle.
The spiky hair.
White woman. I'm sorry to all the white women. Many are my friends, but that's what I imagine. And I imagine this, the Kate from Kate and Eight Kids.
She was like the epitome of Karen. Like
So
she
I want to
exemplified
see the manager.
Karen.
I want to see
Yes.
the
I want
manager
to see
now.
the manager. I imagine this like.
Why
this-
aren't you speaking English?
So here's the thing.
That would be another sentence. that comes to
Here's
my
the
mind.
thing. Now they've come up with. So Karen was a baby boomer.
Was
Okay.
she?
They,
Gen X or
she
Gen
was-
X? I think she
well,
was Gen
well,
X.
according to most people, because remember the younger generations don't really know Gen X even existed, right?
Yeah.
So for them, it's a boomer.
Everybody's a boomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gen X, we see you,
Yeah.
Karen, okay? But we don't want to raise our hand
Identify
and say,
with
no,
you.
no, that's
Just cross it off.
We're just like, yeah, that's fine. Boomer. That's it. So Karen was she's a boomer.
Yeah.
She wants to talk to your manager. She's got the spiky hair. She is upset about something because she didn't get the proper service. Well, now
I am Karen.
Yeah,
I am
right.
so
I think
Karen.
you are.
Oh
I
my
think you
God,
are.
I'm
You've been a
so
Karen for a
Karen.
long time.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
now the millennials, the Gen Z has named a millennial Karen.
Which
okay?
is,
Jessica.
but Jessica sounds so nice.
Jessicas are usually nice.
Jessica.
But so are Karens though.
Jessica
Karen is nice, too.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of controversy over like should it be Jessica or should it be Ashley or an Amanda,
I think
right? Those were
Jessica-
named. They were all in the running
They're
for,
all
for
maybe-
that
maybe-
prestigious,
maybe maybe they're trying
millennial
to-
Karen.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to make like a. It should sound ironic, where Karen sounds like such a
nice.
friendly, nice person. So does Jessica, and yet their personalities are completely the opposite. So maybe that is part
I
of the
wonder-
play
It
on
might
the
be
word.
that they're. So I think here's the thing with the Karen and the Jessicas. These are people who want to right the wrong, right? There's been wrong that's committed. They identified it. Now the problem is the level of that wrong. Sometimes it's not like, oh, the poor are not getting access to food.
It's usually
more
something
like
frivolous.
I'm sitting at McDonald's. They didn't get my food. It's been 10 minutes. What's happening?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I am guilty of that.
Me too.
I am guilty of
Oh
that.
my God.
My husband has to like calm me down. Like it's just McDonald's, hun. It's okay.
I'm the most patient person. I'd be like, poor things. They're having to work at McDonald's, and nobody is gonna do that by choice. So I'm just gonna be nice and wait.
Well, I feel for them. While I feel for them,
But
I still want my food. You promised me 5 minutes. Like this is
See,
fast
that's not-
food.
that's
This
not
is
me.
not a dine-in.
and when they bring me my food, like half an hour later, I'd be like, "Thank you so much." That's all. That's my
Thank you
true
so much.
feeling.
It's about time.
No,
That's
my
it.
true feeling
Thank you,
is
Jessica.
thank you so much for bringing me
So
my
are
food.
you saying you've never been like let's say you're on the phone call with your bank or a credit card company or whatever, and you're on the phone call for 10 minutes.
If I'm
Or-
with the
no, wait a minute, half an
corporation,
hour.
I'm the major.
Okay, there you
yeah.
okay.
But
okay,
not
speak.
where people are working, like at McDonald's
No,
and
no,
stuff.
but
I
let's-
won't be a Jessica to them.
But so you choose who you're caring
I'm
to.
choosing-
Okay, so who are you like attitude with?
I can give you an example.
Give me an example.
So
yes.
I bought a gift card from Target to give to somebody for a birthday party. And it's one of those, the Visa gift card with like
They're horrible.
$100
Never
on it.
buy them. Never.
Yes, I learned
never.
my lesson. So that person called me back saying, "Oh, we were gonna use it, but there's some numbers missing." When they opened the package, because it's packaged, it's sealed.
It's
You think
happened to me
everything
too.
is there.
Yeah.
And so I went back to Target and I said, "I need my money back because this card was no good," right? And he said, "Oh, because these are third party vendors, we don't really reimburse." I said, "I don't." That's when I turned into Jessica times 20. I said, "I don't care because I got it from you. Why
I
am
trusted you.
I trusted you, and I'm having to lose my money. You should be losing your money. You give me the $100 that I gave you, and then you lose your $100.
you
Why
go.
should it be
Yeah.
me?" And then I said, "Can I see the manager?" I didn't say, "Can I see the manager?" I need to talk to your manager, right? The poor guy came out and he was being super nice. He's like, "Sorry, I can give you the number for the corporation." So I called Target Corporation and I said, "This is what's
When
happening."
was this? Yesterday?
No, this was
Yeah.
Seems like very fresh on
Because
your mind.
I was calling Target yesterday. I had
so
to fight with
Target
them.
Corporation, and they're like, "Yeah, we get a lot of these complaints." And I said, "And then you're
You
still
continue
selling
to
them?
sell them? Yeah.
I'm gonna sue you, right?" So then he's like, "No, I'm gonna give you another number, email, write to this credit card now I have to write to the credit card company, and the credit card company sent me another card. But it took all that work from me. So guess what I did? I didn't stop being a Jessica yet. Okay. So then I went on California State website to the Attorney General's
Yes.
office,
That's major Karen energy. Go.
Attorney
Yeah.
Banta, and I reported the case there that this is what Target is doing. And they themselves have said a lot of people are losing their money and there's nothing they can do. So I just want to report that consumers are getting,
Well, if
taken
they're
advantage of.
consistent complaints.
So that is where I would turn. But when I turn Jessica, I turn Jessica all the way. Like I'll go to the state and report.
So the difference between Karen and Jessica is that Jessica goes on social media.
I did. I put it
and
on
reports
social media.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So I-
So
that
was
you're
Jessica
Karen and
energy.
Jessica.
I'm a Karen plus Jessica equals like
Ashley.
bombshell.
Equals to Harpreet.
Equals to Harpreet.
Okay,
Karen
so
and
here's the
Jessica
thing.
equals to Harpreet.
When it comes to Karen and Jessica, and I think we had this discussion earlier, for me, these are like Punjabi names, okay?
What? They're not
Karen
Punjabi
and
names.
Jessica are very Punjabi names. Every Punjabi person knows like 5 Punjabi Jessicas.
No.
yeah,
Yes.
but they're not Punjabi names. They're
No,
just
no,
being
they're
used
not
by
Punjabi names. They
people.
don't have a Punjabi meaning, but this is like, names like Tinku. Like there's no meaning to it, but every
Right.
Punjabi person knows a Tinku.
At least one. Everybody knows at least a Jessica. or a Karen.
I get Karen because it's Kiran. It's very easy for most Punjabis to pronounce it because it's just a little twist on Kiran.
Yeah.
I don't get Jessica. I see Jasmine. I see Jasmine
but
is very
Jasmine is
commonly
not an
used.
English
Jessica's
name
very
anyway. It's
Punjabi.
yes.
Yeah.
It comes from
Jessica
Yasmin.
is a
Yeah.
very Punjabi nickname that is, again, we all know
two. I know
5
three.
Punjabi.
I know two.
there you go.
Okay. It
So,
goes-
Yeah, I
it's
know
just
that
like
is-
they're
I know
always
at
like
least 2.
right, like right. If it was Ashley, I would be like, oh no, that's not a Punjabi
Why
name.
do you think
But
Ashley? Ashley is not
Ashley was
that
in the
common.
running. Ashley was like second to Jessica actually for this title to be the next Karen.
Why? How do they? How do
You
they
know,
even
I
pick-
suppose how they do it. I have a theory. I bet you they look at certain year, right? So 1982, 1983. What was the most popular girl's name? And they would then pick the top few, and they would be, and they probably did the same thing with Karen.
They
and
did.
Kim.
They looked
Yeah.
at the names that
See?
were like 80s, 90s kids.
There you go.
Born
What was
around
the
that
most
time. What was a consistent name that came up? It was Ashley and Jessica. And for some reason, Jessica, maybe because it was closer to Karen sounding, that
Well,
they
and
went
they're
for
one
it.
syllable words, so there can be
But Jessica's not one
Jessica's
syllable.
two.
Jessica. How is it?
Jessica.
Jessica.
That's 3. Yeah, I was doing the chin thing. Jessica.
Yeah,
Three
I guess.
syllables. How do you?
But at the same time, it's like short enough to be able to roll it off your tongue, like Jessica. It's not like Christina, which takes a little bit more off.
Maybe Ashley sounds too nice. Like Ashley
doesn't
doesn't
Jessica-
sound well. Jessica sounds like she has a personality.
But
right?
now we have
Karen
given
sounded
her
like she had a
personality. That's why now it's gonna just like Karen. We assigned a personality, so it started feeling.
You know
like
what
that.
I think it should have been? Jennifer.
I think Jennifer would have been.
I would have thought
but Jennifer
Tiffany.
is Gen X. This is Jennifer
okay.
is Karen's age.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it. Got it. You're
Yeah,
right.
I think
'Cause
Jennifer and Karen are
Jessica was
peers.
Tiffany's kid or Jennifer's kid.
Okay.
Jessica would
Karen's
be
kid.
Jennifer's kid.
Maybe
or
Karen's
kid.
No, I feel like Karen was a grandmother. Like Karen, I feel like Karen was. So Karen might be like the older of the Gen X, like 1960s,
Yeah.
Early
right?
Gen X.
Most Karens
are more like
yeah.
1960s, and some of us, I think, if we look at the latter part of the Gen X, that would probably be the Jennifer, Stephanie's, Tiffany's, Brittany's.
So what happens is it's interesting because if you look at white Karens, they're going to be born in 1960s or late 50s. If you look at Desi Karens, they're going to be much younger because they kind of
by
went,
the time
"Ooh."
the names
So
got
by the
there.
time they were born, the Karens, the white Karens were probably in their 20s, and they're like, "Oh, I know my coworker is a Karen. I'm going to name my kid Karen because it's so easy to say in Punjabi, and it sounds like Kiran." So yeah, so the Karens that I know that are Desi are much younger. The Karens that I know that are non-Desi are much older.
First of all Desis, when they hear the name Kiran, there's a little part of us that goes Kiran, right? We do that stutter thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always do. Every time I meet a Kiran, there's a part of me that's going, Kiran. And I want to make that joke, and I have to stop myself because I'm like, I know she's heard it like 2,000 times already, so she doesn't need to hear it. Like, nice to meet you.
Don't do that.
You're terrible.
So old.
It's
such an
very old. And
joke.
nowadays, people won't even understand what you're alluding to.
Oh,
Because
I'm
the
gonna
movie
age
was
myself.
so old. Yes.
yeah.
Because
Most
that was like
younger
Bazigar. That was like Shilpa Shetty's first
No,
movie.
that was Dar.
Oh,
Dar,
Dar.
Dar,
with
yeah,
Shah
even
Rukh
older
Khan
than
and
that.
Juhi Chawla and
So
maybe
if you
Jackie
say
Shroff.
that to like the Gen Zs, they're gonna be like, "Why is she
What's
stuttering?"
wrong with her?
Yeah.
But they probably heard. It's probably
They're
like
gonna
a
put it
dad
on
joke.
social media.
It's like a dad
somebody
joke.
did this.
That they probably
It's
heard
from a
it, but it's
movie.
probably like
Let's
ages.
be very clear. It's from a movie. We're not making fun.
We're
of
not
anyone.
making
It's-
fun of-
It's just.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
yes, yeah,
it's-
we're not.
and I forgot Dar.
Dar,
Right? Dar is a
where
movie. If you
Shah
wanna
Rukh Khan stutters
one of
every time
Shah Rukh
he
Khan's
says
first
Kiran
movies.
because he's so obsessed with
Yeah,
Kiran
yeah,
that he
yeah.
can't say her name without putting that extra
And
emphasis
only
on
on that name.
Only on that name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so Jessica is
So
Punjabi.
my question now is, why is it that people keep picking these women who say, "I want to talk to a manager, I'm going to put it on social media"? What is the male counterpart of Karen and
It doesn't
Jessica?
exist.
Why
Well,
not?
Karen-
Women
Karen
are the
is
justice
Kevin.
warriors.
No, it's not a justice warrior. It's somebody saying, being very annoying.
No, well, Karen is a Kevin. And for her
Jessica.
counterpart, I don't know about Jessica. We
Jason.
can maybe come up with a
Let's
name.
come up with Jessica's counterpart.
Jess. It could just be a guy
Jesse.
named Jesse. Jesse.
Jesse.
No,
Jessica
Jesse
just-
doesn't. Jesse
But
doesn't
Jesse's
sound like
more
the guy
like a
who's-
hero, like
yeah.
a local Robin Hood hero who protects everybody.
Could it be
So
a
it can't be-
Jaden?
Huh?
A Jaden?
Jaden.
Jaden?
Yeah. Maybe Jaden, but Jaden doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
I like
as
Jason
Jessica.
though. I do
Jason
like
can
Jessica.
work, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, Jason. Jason and
Jason,
Jessica
okay,
sound like a
Jason-
good pair.
Jason is a
Jason is
good,
good.
like it has enough like vast amount of people
Yeah.
are named Jason.
Like
so I think
Jason
we
and
could call it
Jessica
Jason.
could be a couple.
Yeah, like
they
Ken and
totally-
Karen.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Is it Ken
Jason.
and Karen or Kevin and Karen?
I think Kevin. It should be Kevin and Karen.
I feel like
Because
Kevin.
Ken and Barbie are already taken.
Yeah.
Ken is
Yeah.
already taken.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't want Ken cheating on
No.
Barbie with
Can you
Karen. No,
imagine?
that-
That's
Ken and Barbie may have that. They might be fine with it.
but, and who are we to
that
say?
sounds like a really suburban, a suburban affair.
If Ken goes with Karen, I don't know, poor Barbie. But Barbie might be okay with it. But what if Karen doesn't know that Ken is married to Barbie? Like, we don't
So
know.
Karan Aujla's
So
affair.
it's funny, like a side note.
Yeah.
There's apparently a show with Twinkle Khanna and Kajol.
Yeah.
I
I've
don't
seen
I
it.
don't know what the name of the show is, but it's kind of like just
Different
it's a
generation.
podcast or something.
Yeah.
And this topic had come up, and it was Janvi Kapoor who was the guest, and Janvi Kapoor is much younger. And when this topic came up, both Twinkle Khanna and Kajol defended
Yeah.
and said it's okay if you know what happens outside the home, we don't care as long as this person comes home and is a good husband to me. I don't care. And Janvi Kapoor
I know,
looked
her,
horrified.
her face was like,
Horrified.
what are you talking about?
She still has that young woman
Yeah.
kind of, you know, you can say naive
Right.
kind of, you know, looking at life in a rose-colored glasses. So, and that was interesting because Twinkle Khanna and Kajol. And so people from there went on and say, is this saying
What's
something?
the secret to your long marriage?
Is that the secret to a long